we have yet another rising star here in the state of West Virginia. But what you might not know is he actually came from another country. Yes, another country. Hi, everybody. I'm Taylor Kennedy, and welcome into episode 68 of Hoops Across the Mountain State. Again, you can follow me on Twitter at Taylor_Kennedy7, or you can subscribe to the podcast on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts as well. Well, as I said, my guest, for however you may be listening or watching this program, came from Canada. Now he is in the hills of West Virginia as he resides. But without further ado, let's dive into our guest and let's see what is all about with our guest. Well, my guest, a 2022 commit to WVU. He is entering his senior season. Yes, his senior season at Teays Valley Christian Prep, I should say, under Coach Coach Tarr. He is from Kitchener, Ontario, Canada. He'll correct me, obviously. Hopefully I got that correct. Sorry for all the Canadians out there. But he is a 6'3" guard, and he averaged 13 points per game last season. Well, no, excuse me, in his sophomore season. And WVU was his first Power 5 offer as well. Well, again, he always comes back, and he loves going back and forth between Canada and WVU. But let's dive right into our guest. Again, I'm very excited. Because he's a rising guard, and he's a guy that you definitely want to keep an eye out for this upcoming season and in the future as well. So let's dive right in and let's welcome in our guest to episode 68 of Hoops Across the Mountain State, Mr. Josiah Davis. Josiah, welcome to the program.
Man, appreciate you for having me. Let's get it going.
Absolutely. How's everything been going for you, my man?
Amazing. Academics are good. Basketball is taking off, and I'm just trying to make the best of every opportunity and every single day.
Before we talk about basketball, you brought it up, and I know not a lot of people like school, but are you a school person?
Yeah, I honestly like school it's student athlete, so you're a student before an athlete. So as much as sometimes I don't like school, like I enjoy it as well because it's just giving me better opportunity to see different things and different perspectives.
I think you're definitely not me. You're definitely not me. I am not a school person whatsoever. But that's good. So let me ask you this then. So when you get to college, have you figured out what you want to do major-wise?
Yeah, either broadcasting, business management, or communications.
You're all over the place with that. I love that. Very diverse.
Yeah.
So you want to walk me through each of those three?
Broadcasting, I've seen like Stephen A. and all those type of guys like talking after NBA games and stuff, and it seems like quite interesting. And then business management, like maybe one day I can be able to run my own business. And then communications I'm a very communicative person, and I like to talk to people. So I just feel like I'd find some type of interest in communicating all the time because I'll never stop talking. Like I'm always talking. So
have you figured out what kind of business you want to do, or is that something down the line that you would want to dive into?
Definitely down the line.
Have you thought about it at all?
Nah, not really. Not really.
I'm trying to pick your brain early, Josiah. You gotta help me out. No, but that's good. That's good that you're diverse, and that's good. So let's do this. Let's start from square one. Let's talk about Canada. Hopefully, okay. Let me start with this. Did I get Kitchener right? Did I pronounce that correctly?
Yeah, it's Kitchener.
I did.
Yeah, you good.
Okay, I'm glad I got that out of the. That's the biggest thing I wanted to get off the floor this episode. So I'm glad I got that done. But no, so we'll start with talking about Canada coming to the U.S. and then obviously Teays Valley along with some WVU stuff as well. So we'll tie everything together. But Josiah, let's start here. For people that don't know, what is basketball like up in Canada?
What people assume is basketball in Canada is really soft, but we got a lot of hard-headed guards, bigs, just basketball players in general all across the country. And like we take everything and every opportunity as serious as possible. So I feel like basketball in Canada it's an amazing aspect, and like you see different things, especially from going to the States to America, the States to Canada, you see a lot of different things. throughout the process of being in the States and being in Canada and seeing both sides. Basically, you get the best of both worlds, honestly.
So growing up in Canada, obviously you have the Toronto Raptors, but also, you know, right there is New York as well. If you're over in the Ontario or in Toronto province, I should say. But growing up, who were some players that you really looked up to and you tried to sort of mold your game after?
Definitely Colin Sexton. Honestly, Colin Sexton was that one guy you should always watch because he was always energetic. He always played the hardest on the court, and he never like took anything for granted. So after like watching him, it just gave me an aspect and showed me that like I could do anything, even when somebody says I can't do it. I just got to work hard towards it.
What kind of pieces of his game do you sort of pick out? You're just like, okay, I need to add this to my arsenal ASAP.
Definitely, it was definitely a dog mentality. His defensive ability and his ability to shoot off the dribble. Those are definitely some things that I watched and pick pieces from his game as I was growing up playing basketball.
So I have to ask, how many times have you watched the highlights of the 3-on-5 Alabama versus Minnesota game whenever him and two other guys just absolutely put the team on their back after everybody got fouled out or ejected or they didn't have enough players on the roster? How many times have you watched that highlight?
Too many times because like throughout in that game he could have just quit and said, I gave up on my team. It's 3 versus 5. The odds are against us. But honestly, he stayed composed. He stayed poised and just did what he had to do and got his points, but also like kept his team kept the two guys that he had composed and just did what they had to do. They might have lost, but that's probably one of the greatest losses going down in one of the greatest losses in college history because it was 3 against 5 and they still only lost by, I want to say like 6, 7.
That's about right. We'll go with that.
But yeah.
So, okay, so that's interesting. So you mentioned Colin Sexton, but again, I still find it fascinating that you came from Canada down to West Virginia. And, you know, growing up in Canada, things may be similar, things may be different. You know, what's different between Canada and the United States?
Honestly, not a lot because it's similar to each other, but like opportunity wise, there's more opportunities here in America, but there's also some opportunities in Canada that Americans don't have. But there's a lot of different things that each side don't have. And I just realized that as soon as I got here. So that was one of the things that really caught me off guard or caught my attention. And
okay, so let's dive into your basketball journey. Now you're heading into your senior season at Teays Valley Christian.
Yeah.
But had the thought of always playing basketball in America been on your mind?
No.
What sort of led you to coming to America to pursue basketball?
Definitely wanting to take my basketball talents to another level. And I feel like coming to the States would allow me to do that. Being able to play in like the AAU circuit, the UIBL circuit, it just showed me what type of level of intensity that Americans have. And I really wanted to take that on. So throughout my years of playing AAU, I finally got in contact with Coach Ryan. And then that's when I made the move to come to West Virginia and attend Teays Valley Christian. And it kind of just took off from there.
When you look at AAU in Canada, how big of an impact does AAU in Canada have?
If it wasn't for me starting AAU in Canada, I wouldn't even ever knew about AAU in the States. So it kind of had an impact on me because once I found out about AAU in Canada, it kind of just led me to being on an AAU team that travels to the States. And then when I really wanted to take things serious, I knew I had to make a change. So I'm thankful for AAU in Canada because it allowed me to move towards AAU and playing in the States.
Okay, so you mentioned Coach Ryan. two things. One, who is Coach Ryan? And two, how much of an impact has he had on your career up to this point?
Coach Ryan, it really is Coach Ryan and Coach Tarr. They're both. Coach Ryan was the head coach at the time, but now he coaches at Rio Grande University, his old college. And then Coach Tarr is his assistant. They both have a very high impact on me right now, especially because college is coming up. They want to make sure my academics is aligned. They want to make sure that I'm staying on top of everything, even on the court. They look out for me. They care for me as if I'm their own son. So just to have that type of support, it just means more than anything to me, especially when I'm confused or stuck on something. I know I can go to them and talk to them about it.
Okay, so that clears up the air some. So when you say Coach Ryan, you mean Coach Ryan Arrowood, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So how did he come into contact with you? How did he find out about you? You're a guy from Canada. How did he sort of find Josiah Davis?
Well, you play Canada, my AAU program, and Coach Dwayne reached out to Coach Ryan, and then Coach Ryan came to my last AAU tournament, my freshman year, and he kind of got in contact with my parents. And then after my last game that season, me and him kind of started talking, and he asked me, he's like, "How do you feel about the school? We want you over here." And we just kind of had that connection from the time we first talked. And then I was ready to take another step in my journey, and then I decided to come to Teays Valley Christian.
Okay, so you mentioned Coach Ryan, and you mentioned Coach Tarr earlier.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about this. Through COVID, you guys didn't have a season last year, but you mentioned how still much of an impact Coach Tarr has on your career, but two, just academically trying to get you through school and everything. How has he kind of been more of a role model than a basketball coach towards you over the last year or so?
Definitely he's been a role model to me because he has a lot of things going on, especially with businesses and stuff and things outside of basketball. But he always showed, like throughout the whole entire time, he always showed me what it is to just stay calm and take one step at a time and not try to battle everything at once. And definitely just show me what it is to be a leader and just continue to do what you have to do and handle your business. And once I learned that from him, it just took off and honestly just showed me a lot.
What's the biggest piece of advice that he's given you?
It was my first year, Teays Valley Christian, so my sophomore year. And I remember at a practice, I was just really frustrated and nothing was falling for me and everything. And I just wanted to just like call it quits for the day. But one thing he told me, and it just took off like wherever I went after that, he says, whenever you have a job or something to do, when you walk in, it's your job, like it's your business. And you can't allow people to take your money from you. So when I'm on the court, it's my job. And I have money as a point guard, I have the money to feed to my teammates. But if I don't run my business right, then there's no money to provide for my teammates. So I feel like he told me, like, honestly, just look at everything as another opportunity and don't take anything for granted. So that's probably one of the biggest advice that he's given to me that I took away.
Okay, let me get this straight. You just use money, like cash in that answer?
Yeah, like say for instance, like the point guard is the floor general. He's the guy that everybody needs on the team.
Mm-hmm.
If a point guard can't run his team, then the team's kind of just looks sloppy. It just looks like who's running the team. Because the coach puts, just as much as the players put their trust in the coach, they got to put their trust in the point guard. Because the point guard is the coach on the court. If there's no point guard on the court, then you can't get your money. Like, you guys can't win games. So if you don't win games, there's no coaches coming to watch you. There's no scouts. There's no none of that. So that's like money. That's like getting your bread right. You can't do that if your point guard's not going to lead you guys to it.
That might be my favorite analogy.
Yeah.
Not kidding. Not kidding either. I mean,
you gotta look at it as another opportunity is getting money. If you can't do something right, you can't make no money.
Yeah, wake up and get that bread, huh?
Exactly. Get your right.
Oh goodness. Okay. That's neat. That's neat. That's neat. Okay, so I would be dismissive if I did not bring up your house parents and Jack
Yeah,
Russo and his wife.
yeah.
What was that first meeting like between his family and you?
Um, Honestly, it was like me and Coach Ryan. It was honestly just a connection from the start. I love them both. They both take care of me like I'm their own son. They always make sure I'm okay. They just treat me as if I'm in my household away from my household. Like Marianne, she just makes sure she's just like my mom. She makes sure I'm on top of everything. She makes sure I do my chores. Jack is the exact same. Um, they just make sure that my schoolwork is in line. Basketball, they know I could take care of basketball, but they really care about my academics and they really care about me handling my business off the court as well as on the court. But they know I can do that myself. But especially just having them as a support system away from my mom and my dad, it just showed that I could trust them and my parents could trust them too.
Was it difficult at first being away from your hometown, one, but two, just being away from your parents in general? I mean, you're in a completely new place. I mean, who knows? I mean, West Virginia is a completely new place. You got a bunch of mountains around you. You got loud noises. I mean, was it difficult at first?
Yeah, it was definitely a step that I wasn't used to. But like I definitely got used to it and it was definitely a step that I needed to take if I wanted to better myself and better my opportunities. So it was definitely hard at first, but once I got used to it, it was kind of easy for me. It was nothing. It was no problem.
Okay, so this is super fascinating. So, and well, okay, let me ask you this: what was your initial thought whenever you first got in the Teays Valley, the Scott Depot area?
Um, I
It, it's
start
it's
out
not it's no
like
Canada. I'll tell you
when I
that
got
much. I'll
here.
tell you it's no Canada.
Yeah, when I got here, I was like, man, they put me in the middle of nowhere because I wasn't seeing no like stores, no nothing. Like, cause in Canada, you're used to seeing like stores in every corner or townhouses or apartments, and I'm just seeing like trees and mountains and forests, and I'm like, they just stuck me in the middle of nowhere, and they're about to leave me here. And I was definitely not. I was definitely not expecting mountains and trees, but I kind of got used to it.
That, that's funny. That you legitimately thought that they were gonna just leave you there?
Yeah, I thought I was stuck in the middle of nowhere.
That's funny. Okay, so you talked about how you got used to it. Walk us through that. How do you get used to a place like West Virginia? Because you mentioned that whenever you're just walking through Canada, you just see a store or a convenience store. Pretty much everywhere you look, it seems like like a fast food
Yeah.
restaurant as well. How'd you get used to that?
Um, Honestly, taking walks. I feel like taking walks and just like spending time with yourself and enjoying the nature of things. Like you get to really understand like it's not just trees and forests and mountains. It's actually uh hello.
Hey, I'm still here.
Okay, yeah. Sorry.
You're
It's
good.
you just taking time and walking with yourself and enjoying the time that you have. It gave me another perspective. It's just like, oh, it's not just trees and forests. It's actually like a place where you can just get away and enjoy yourself.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So you brought it up, and I want to talk about it because I find that the sports psychology aspect of an athlete's career is ultimately what defines how they succeed. And you mentioned how going on walks helps you just sort of connect with yourself and just sort of connect with your surroundings as well.
Yeah.
When you do that, when you sort of hone in on what you're thinking, what goes through your mind whenever you're just by yourself taking a walk, like you said? What do you think about, one, but two, how do you sort of learn from that walk and then you apply that to the basketball court?
Um, Definitely just it's a calming feeling. So especially as a point guard, like if you're in an intense game and fans are into it and it's a close game, like you got to definitely got to be calm And like I feel like walking in a calm surrounding and calm environment, like I'm able to just be able to breathe in those type of intense moments and just handle what I got to handle and do what I got to do to help my team.
Okay, so as a point guard, what goes through your head whenever you sort of see your team down in the dumps? I mean, you guys are down. You're trying to pick your team up. What's your go-to motto that you sort of apply not only to yourself but to your team as well, just to get them juiced back up?
Energy. Honestly, I feel like I might say something funny and make them laugh, and then realize like you got to have fun with the game. Like it can't like as much as it's serious, you got to be able to have fun with it. So like I try to keep my energy to a high positive aspect so they can feed off my energy. Because if my energy's down just like theirs, then it's no chance we're gonna have any type of ability to come back in the game. But if they realize that one person still has that high intensity level of energy, they might feed off of that, and then it'll bring them back, and it'll snap back into and be like, oh, this is what we got to do. Like we see one guy feeding energy, we always got to take that energy and put it into the game.
Where did you learn this energetic side of you? I mean, you're I can hear it in your voice. There's a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of passion as well. Does somebody tell you that, you know, applying energy onto the basketball court and off the basketball court is a big tool to have in life? I mean, dude, I'm not kidding you. You're just sitting here. I'm just like, I can just hear this enthusiasm in his voice, and I'm just like, I wish I could have that enthusiasm on a day-to-day journey.
I want to be honest. I've been an energetic kid since I could start walking. Like I've always been running around, always find something fun to do. So like I just like to see people smile. I like to see people have fun as well as me having fun myself. So like since I was a kid, I've always had that type of energy, and that's just like stuck with me since then.
I love that. Just because it's relatable. I mean, I'm the same way. I'm the same way, and I can see it. I can legitimately see it. So That's awesome. Okay, so let's talk about let's get back into your basketball discussion. So, first recollections of your first practice with Teays Valley. Your thoughts were what?
Honestly, I thought it was going to be the easiest practice of life until we finished practice. And I realized this is not going to be easy at all. Coach Ryan was a nice coach talking to him off the court, but when it comes to handling business, he does not play no games. And I realized that in like the first 20 minutes of practice.
What kind of drills did you guys do?
Honestly, we warmed up with a lot of like top foot passing and layup drills and just getting up and down the court. But honestly, like if you weren't talking, or if you were talking while he was talking, you got to run. Like Coach Ryan's a good coach. He's a fun coach. He loves you. He'll care for you, but don't cross that one side. You can't cross the one side because then it's not going to end good for you. It's not going to end good. Now, that's what we have to learn, though. We have to learn, like, you can have so much fun to a certain extent. When it's time to come to business, you got to handle your business, and then you can go back to having fun.
Now, did you ever cross that line whenever Coach Arrowood was the head coach?
Yeah, maybe once or twice. Maybe once or twice. I learned from it, trust me. Well, maybe once or twice I had those moments.
Oh my goodness, that's funny. I love how your answer was real subtle. Yeah, once or twice. That's funny, real subtle. I like it. Okay, so your first game with Teays Valley Christian. Let's talk about that. We just talked about practice. Let's talk about the game. Speed of the game. Different? Are there similarities between what you were used to playing up in Canada?
No, completely different.
In what way?
Just getting up and down the court. Honestly, the speed of the game, it's just like it happens so fast. Like there's some plays that you don't even like realize happened until you just tell yourself it happened. But it was definitely a lot faster. It was definitely something like I wasn't used to at first, but then once I got adjusted to it, it kind of came easy to me. But it was definitely learning steps that I had to take to get used to that type of speed in the game and that type of intensity too. Because the first game we played was against CBA, and I'm pretty sure they played full court, and then as soon as you cross half, they double team you. And it was a different type of intensity because it's like we want the ball, and we're gonna do whatever we got to do to take the ball from you. So,
okay, so we mentioned your coaches. We mentioned Coach Arrowood and Coach Tarr. But now let's talk about your teammates, because I assume that your teammates also played an implemental role in just making everything more comfortable for you, the transition. How helpful were they, and who were some guys that really stuck out to you and were pretty much were acting like your big brothers during this move?
Definitely Davey, Krishan, Leo, Brandon, and Aries. Those five guys stuck with me through thick and thin. Like, all my teammates stuck with me through thick and thin. Don't get me wrong, because we're all brothers, and that's what brotherhood does. We stick with each other. But from the first day I got to Teays Valley Christian, I really had that bond and that connection with them. And that's the type of bond and connection I never ever felt before since I was in middle school. So like to have that and feel that type of connection with those guys was just out of this world, because you would think like, oh, they just here to play basketball. They don't care about nobody else. But as soon as you get to talking to them and interacting with them, they really like care for you, and they really care for anything and everything that it is that you do.
You mentioned him. I want to talk about him because he's now at DePaul playing Collegiate 1 basketball. That's Davey Jones.
Yeah.
When you watch Davey on the court, what's he like?
He's a dog. He's a dog. Honestly, you can't play with Davey on the court, because he'll go at your throat and then after try to give you a hug, and it's just like, man, I don't like you. You just tried to take me out of practice. But at the end of the day, you got to realize, like, Davey is always on a mission to take another step forward. He hates to take steps backward. And that was one thing I learned from him, is always take steps forward. Never go backwards in what you're doing. So he was just always had a dog mentality. He was always willing to work, was always never took a day off, never took a play off. And it was just, he just did what he had to do. And I definitely can see why he's playing D1 right now, because he deserves every single last piece of accomplishments that he has, because he's worked hard for it. He's never taken anything for granted.
Now, when he texts you and he'll say, hey, do this, this will help your game blossom at the next level. Does he ever do stuff like that? Does he ever send you tips?
Actually, I remember that he had last year, he had graduated early and attended DePaul. And I remember getting a call from him, and it was right after I committed, and he gave me a call, and he just congratulated me, but he also gave me advice. He's like, this college stuff is no joke. Like, you got to come in and you got to work. Nobody's going to give it to you. You got to take whatever you want, and getting that type of advice from not only my teammate, but like my brother figure to me. It just, now every time I work out, I go 2 times harder. And then the next day, I'll go 3 times, 4 times, 5 times harder. And every single workout, I always try to go harder, 10 times harder than I did the last workout. And that's honestly because he gave me that advice. Because when I get to college, coaches aren't going to really like babysit you. It's maybe 1, 2 reminders. And then after that, it's just, you got to run or they're going to kick you out of practice. And after Davey really gave me that perspective and just showed me what it's really like in that type of lifestyle, it just helped me a lot. Honestly, it just showed me that he doesn't only care about me for basketball, but he cares about me for the next steps too.
So when you look at your game compared to other people in your class of 2022, especially with guys in the state of West Virginia, what separates you among those other guys, in your opinion?
My defense and my leadership. I'm the most energetic person you're ever going to meet on the court. I'm going to be screaming. I'm going to be yelling. I'm going to be laughing. I'm going to be smiling. And when it comes to defense, like, you better hope you have a good shooting day, because you're not getting to the rim. And you're going to have to throw something up over me before I disrespect your shot. But definitely those 2 things. Because I feel like everybody can put the basketball in the hoop, but like, you have to want to play defense. Like, nobody can just, that's something you got to want to do. Like, nobody can force you to play defense. Like, I can score a left-hand layup and come down and let somebody blow by me and dunk the ball. Like, it's not a good look. Like, I love defense so much, because it's like, if I get a defensive spot, that's just another energy feeder right there. And then we go down and score, and then we come back and get another stop, and it just feeds our energy. I feel like you can get energy from scoring, but you get a lot more energy when you play defense.
Okay, so let's talk about not having a prep season. There's a difference between having a prep season an actual varsity season. So for people that don't know, Teays Valley Christian has always had a prep school for, I believe, since 2013 or 2012, something like that. If somebody knows, they can correct me. I know I'm probably wrong, but Josiah, walk me through this. How difficult was it not having a prep season last year?
It was definitely hard, you know, especially because in some states guys were actually playing basketball, and it was definitely hard to a certain point, until a point where Coach Tarr and Coach Tyler Carter, they came up with the idea of making basically an AAU team that plays in a prep circuit and and that was West Virginia Elite. So we formed a team with the Teays Valley guys, and we came together with some of the other guys in the state, and then we went on and we took on other prep teams in North Carolina, South Carolina, Pittsburgh. We went to different tournaments here and there. So like, it was tough not having a prep season and wearing the Teays Valley Christian jersey, but it was definitely an experience because I still got to play in the prep league.
So what was that like? I mean, obviously it's definitely an adjustment, but was it nice being able to play with your guys again? Because obviously COVID took a lot away from a lot of different people, but I assume just being able to play with your guys again in a little bit of a different environment, I assume that was really fun just to retrace those steps.
Most definitely. Honestly, all the long hour drives and trips and going out to eat, like we just all got a little bit closer to each other every single time. And like, I feel like being able to just have them along my side as I take on anything on the court and they take on anything on the court, we just able to do what we have to do with each other and for each other. So I was just thankful that I got to be able to play with my brothers and go to war on the court with them.
So you mentioned that you guys go out to eat. Where is your favorite place to eat in the Teays Valley Scott Depot area?
Taste of Asia. So nice, bro. Taste of Asia is like that. Taste of Asia. No cap.
What do you get at Taste of Asia?
It's like a chicken fried rice bowl, and then like you got general chicken sauce, and then California rolls. I'll tell you, I could go out for days. Like, but I most of the like get the fried rice bowl and some California rolls. Like those are my favorite things.
Now, are you a fan of fat patties at all?
Yes, that too.
I can see you smiling. Don't hide that smile from me, Josiah.
Their milkshakes are fire. No cap. Their milkshakes are fire.
Their milkshakes?
Yeah.
Okay, so I have to admit, I've lived down in the Teays Valley area, or I used to live down in the Teays Valley area for all of about 8 years. And I went to Fat Patties a lot, but not one time, and I feel very bad for saying this, not one time have I ever had a milkshake. So now I need to take it on your word and try a milkshake.
Nah, you gotta try a milkshake.
Okay, I'll take your word up on it. Okay, so you get the West. I want to talk about this because we're talking about food, and whenever I talk about food with anybody, it just goes down a different path than what we're originally on. But it's fine. We'll go down this path. So, have you had a pepperoni roll yet?
Yes. So nice. That that pepperoni roll here is different.
Now, do the Withrows make homemade pepperoni rolls, or do you go somewhere else to get pepperoni rolls?
They make homemade pepperoni rolls.
Ooh, okay. Okay, let me ask you this. How many do you think you could eat in one sitting?
Now, that's a great question.
Wait, hold on. Before you answer, I love how all the questions I've asked you, the one question I ask about food and how many pepperoni rolls you can eat, I get, that's a great question.
That is a great question because honestly, I want to say like 8 to like 12.
Holy cow.
On a good day though, like on a good day.
What about a bad day?
It's on a good day. On a bad day, I eat like 5, 4.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Like there'll be like times where I'm playing the game on video games and just like I need a snack. So like I just sit them out here and I eat them at points in time.
Oh, okay. Let me ask you this. Did you ever think that out of a basketball podcast, we would be talking about how many pepperoni rolls you can eat while playing video games?
No, no, definitely not. Honestly.
Okay, so last West Virginia food thing that we'll touch on. Have you had Tudors yet?
To the chicken, I mean, bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich is my go-to. Like breakfast sandwich is my go-to at Tudors. And some orange juice, fire.
You must really love West Virginia because all this stuff that I've been telling you, you've either said fire, it's like that, or just I can just hear like that. Yes,
Yeah,
that's my go-to.
everything-
That's what I like.
Everything, a lot of things I've eaten in West Virginia, definitely hit the spot. No cap.
So you would give the food in West Virginia a 10?
Yeah, solid
Okay.
10.
Okay. Oh, I respect that. I agree with you. So we'll go with that. Oh boy. Okay, so let's get back to basketball. We're done with food. We're done with food. We're putting it in the food. I know we're both hungry now, but yeah. So also, if there's any pepperoni roll companies out there that would like to sponsor this podcast, go ahead and do so. Because I'll talk about
go ahead and
pepperoni
do
rolls
this.
frequently.
Make sure y'all sponsor my man Taylor.
Yeah, we'll hook up Josiah as well.
I need the hookup.
But just I can't talk now because we're talking about pepperoni. Okay, back to basketball. Okay, so Josiah, let's talk about WVU. When did WVU first come on the scene for you? Because as I mentioned in the opening, they were the first Power 5 offer you received. When did they first come onto the scene for you?
My sophomore year when we played Huntington Prep, the War of I-24 game. Isaiah Cottrell was already commit there, and I guess they were there to watch Isaiah, and somehow I caught their attention. And then throughout the summer, I went back home and I was working out with my trainer, and then I got the call. But the funny story is, I'm gonna tell you a funny story. So the day I got my offer, I was working out. But after a workout, like we'll go in a sauna and then we'll go in the pool or whatever. And I'm getting a call like on my phone, but like I'm thinking like it's like one of my friends or something. So I'm like, I'm gonna call him back. But they keep calling. So I look at my phone, I have 4 missed calls from my mom, 5 missed calls from my dad, and 3 missed calls from Coach Tarr. So now I'm thinking to myself, like, is there an emergency? Like, what's going on? So I call my mom. Mom's like, call Coach Tarr right now. I'm like, all right. So I call Coach Tarr. He's like, Joe, I'm gonna put you on the phone with somebody. Don't hang up the phone. I'm like, all right, cool. So he comes back on the phone. He's like, Joe, are you there? And I'm like, yeah. And he's like, I have somebody here wanting to talk to you. And it's Coach Huggins on the other line. And his voice caught me off guard because it's so deep. And he's like, yeah, we watched you. He's just giving me the rundown. He says, we like to offer you. So now I get the offer, but like, you gotta stay calm. You can't act crazy. But like while he's talking, I'm over there jumping up and down, doing flips and everything. And then we got off the phone and I just started screaming. Like I just started screaming, and I called my dad and I called my mom. It was just a good day for everybody, honestly. And then now I'm a part of the Mountaineers family, and I can ask for anything better, honestly.
That's awesome. I love that story. But I think the thing that really sticks out to me, don't ask me why, but I think the biggest thing that sticks out to me is the fact that you started doing flips. Like, did you actually do like a flip? I'm not. You got me curious now.
Yeah, definitely. I was gonna jump in the pool, but I was worried about my phone, so I didn't.
Yeah, priorities are the big.
Exactly.
The phone is a necessity.
It's a necessity.
Okay, so cool. So let me ask you this. You mentioned Coach Huggins. Had you known about Coach Huggins prior to the phone call?
No.
Really?
No. Like I knew about him after a Huntington game. Like everybody was telling me he was there. But I still like never knew who he was because I never seen his face or anything. So when I got the phone call from him, I already knew he was a coach that had a deep voice, but like I never seen his face. So
that's interesting.
Yeah,
that's really interesting. Okay, so before West Virginia, for people that don't know, were there any other schools that had interest in you, that had offered you? Walk us through that.
Yeah, Stetson had offered me. Stetson was my first offer, but West Virginia was my first Power 5 offer. Virginia Tech, Baylor, Ole Miss, Michigan, Purdue, different schools like that. They had all interest in me. Santa Clara had an interest in me. And a lot of schools had a lot of interest.
So let's take it from this angle. You're a guy from Canada in a urban area in Canada, I should say. Never been to not really, I shouldn't say that. Coming to the US to play basketball, come to West Virginia, thought you were gonna get dropped off. You get a phone call from Bob Huggins, didn't know about him until after the Huntington prep game, and then offers truly start flooding in. Okay.
Yeah.
Walk me through this. As a guy from Canada, like I just said, a guy from Canada comes to the US to play basketball. What's it like for you to just see this flooding of offers from different Power 5 offers, like the Virginia Techs of the world, the Ole Misses of the world, just places like that offered you, showed interest in you as well? What's that like for you?
It was truthfully a blessing, because without God, none of this would have been possible. But honestly, it just proved to me that, like, no matter, like, I work hard, then the results are gonna show. And it definitely showed in the schools that reached out to me. Thank you. Actually, matter of fact, thank you to all the schools that reached out to me. But it definitely showed with hard work and dedication that anything's possible, and anybody can recognize your hard work, even if it's in the dark. It's just soon gonna come to light. So when that happened, it just showed me that my hard work is now only starting, and there's a lot more to do.
Okay, so let's look forward to next season.
Yeah.
As you look ahead to next season, as we're all close to 2 months away, can you believe that it's almost 2 months away before you start your senior season?
It breaks my heart, because I never thought I'd be a senior in high school. Like, I knew I was gonna be a senior, but I never wanted it to happen, because high school is fun. High school basketball is fun. It's enjoyable. So to say that, it's just it hits another spot in my heart.
I hear you loud and clear, my man. I was there once, played 3 years at Winfield High School, right down the road from Teays Valley, so I know exactly how you feel, my man. So,
yeah.
Okay, so cool. So let's talk about this. Let's talk about your game. Where do you see the biggest improvement can be made heading into next season?
Shooting off the dribble. Definitely shooting off the dribble. My catch and shoot is coming along really well, but shooting off the dribble is definitely something that is working on towards next season.
How do you go about improving that? I know that you can do different drills, you have different machines for that, but how do you personally go about fixing that and then improving in that?
Just work, honestly, just work. As like my trainer back home, he pushed me through a lot of like hard intensity drills that forced me to have to be able to bounce the ball hard, catch it, follow through, shoot, everything. It's just work, honestly. Those type of drills that he pushed me through helps me a lot to get those type of repetition, like reps in, and it helps a lot, honestly.
So looking ahead from a team aspect, as a leader as well, because you mentioned how your energy and your leadership are your 2 biggest qualities in your game.
Yeah.
As a leader, where do you see this team can improve the most to be more successful this year?
Good question. I want to say just rebounding. Like we can get defensive stops and we can run in transition, but we got to be able to finish the defensive play. So rebounding is probably one of our biggest things that we got to improve on.
Honestly. Okay. Let's talk about this. To continue with Teays Valley. Walk me through the fan atmosphere on a game day, or the energy level within Teays Valley Christian on a game day, and then you get on the court and you can just feel that energy. What's that like? And just for people that don't know, how much of an impact does that make on a game?
On a game day, you have those posts that the school put out letting everybody know it's a game, what time to show up. But it's definitely different when you go in the locker room and change. You come out and you see all these supporting fans, all these supportive families. You got the little kids that come and look up to us in so many different ways. You know, it's just you feel like you have a family that just cares and loves about you guys on and off the court. So the type of energy in that type of game, you just feed off their energy, and they're screaming and they're cheering and everything. It just gives you that type of, it gives you another energy boost in the game, and it just allows us to put on the show for them and just appreciate them for everything they do and appreciate them for just coming and watching us play, honestly.
Okay, so great analysis on your part. Now let's take it from a macro. Now you're gonna be playing your final season in front of a great home crowd at Teays Valley Christian.
Yeah.
But have you realized that once you finish your career at Teays Valley, you get to West Virginia, instead of playing in front of a few hundred, you're gonna be playing where a few thousand, like right around 1,000 to 2,000 people at Teays Valley. You're gonna go into playing in front of 16,000 people. Have you thought about that yet?
Yeah.
Are you excited about that?
I'm more than excited. I'm ready for it.
I think you just got Mountaineer Nation up on its feet with that one.
I'm ready to turn up with Mountaineer Nation, because I went to the Baylor game on my unofficial 2 years ago, and that atmosphere, it matches my energy. So when they're loud, I'm loud. When we're energetic, I'm energetic. I'm ready for everything, Mountaineer Nation. Everything.
Okay, let's talk about this. We mentioned Mountaineer Nation. When you first committed to WVU, how did you sort of see this outpouring of love from Mountaineer Nation, just congratulating you, welcoming you into this family almost? What was that like for you?
Honestly, this gave me a warm feeling in my heart, because I already have the love and support I have here in Teays Valley. So just to know that I'm gonna have the same amount of love and support from thousands of more people just goes to show that Mountaineers, West Virginia in general, is just a loving and caring place because they care about you in any single way. So getting all that love and that support just makes me feel a lot more comfortable in the situation that I'm in and going to West Virginia and all those type of things. And I'm just ready to embrace that love and not take it for granted and put on the show for West Virginia and like Mountaineers Nation, honestly.
So you announce your commitment on your Twitter page. Who was the first person to congratulate you from pretty much anybody? Who's the first person to congratulate you?
After my parents, definitely Coach Tarr and those guys. Coach Tarr, Coach Ryan, Coach Scott, Coach Tyler. There's just a lot of coaches congratulated me first, and a lot of family and friends congratulated me as well. But just to know that, they were there and I had their full support just made me feel a lot better about the decision that I made. And I was ready to take another step, and they're ready to be behind me through anything and everything.
So I'm just doing a quick glance through your Twitter page real quick, and I see on your commitment announcement, you put hashtag 519 stand up. What does that mean?
Okay, so 519 is Kitchener's area code. So like I've been saying 519 since probably the 7th grade. And I've been saying 519 stand up because Kitchener's not a very known place in Canada, let alone in America. So just to be able to say 519 stand up in a video, say 519 stand up on a post, it just means a lot. I'm just trying to put on for the city just as much as I'm trying to put on for my family and my friends. I want to make sure that everybody knows I'm from Kitchener. I'm from 509, and that's what I'm going to rep, and that's what I'm going to say all the time, 509 stand up, because 509 is stand up. This is what we do.
What about 304? Can we get a 304 stand up?
Oh, yeah, 304 stand up too. It's like 519 to the 304.
Ooh, I like that.
519 to 304. So 519, 304 stand up. Everybody stand up.
I think okay, so I'm gonna be honest with you. I think I might steal that, and I think that might be the title of this podcast episode.
Hey, go ahead. 519 to 304. That's the saying. 519 to 304.
I like it. I like that a lot. I think that, you know what? That should be your trademark. You should do like a clothing brand with that. There
Oh,
you go.
nice.
There's your business right there. I
Oh,
I
yeah.
just gave you your business.
You just gave me a business for real. 509 to 304. Yeah, I like that. I like that right there.
I'll expect my check in the mail, please. Oh man. Well, my man, I appreciate your time. This was really fun getting to know you, getting to know your basketball journey from Canada to West Virginia, then ultimately committing to Mountaineer Nation as well. I appreciate it, and I hope you enjoy this. Did you enjoy this?
Oh, enjoy every single moment of it. I appreciate you for having me. Mountaineers Nation, we're about to rock out soon. 509, stand up. 304, stand up. And let's make this happen. Let's make this magic happen.
I love it. I love it, my man. Well, again, best of luck the rest of the way for you as you embark on your final season with Teays Valley, and good luck in the coming years at WVU as well.
Appreciate you, Taylor.
Absolutely.
A lot.
That will conclude episode 68 of Hoops Across the Mountain State with our terrific guest, Josiah Davis of Teays Valley Christian. Again, 519 to the 304. Stand up. Let's hear it.
Yes, sir. 519 to 304. Stand up. 519 to 304.
That could be a wrap as well. So we need to stop. We need to stop before we're ahead. I'm just saying. But again, special thanks to Josiah for joining me. Again, you can follow me on Twitter at Taylor_Kennedy7 for all the latest news about this podcast as well. And as we move into the winter, fall and winter months, I should say, I'm gonna come out with a hoodie as well. Haven't not finalized the official design, but a hoodie will be coming soon because again, I am a big hoodie guy and I need a hoodie in my life that has this podcast. So I'll keep you all updated with that. And with that being said, again, subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube as well. And I'll catch you all next time on episode 69 of Hoops Across the Mountain State. Stay safe, and I'll catch you all next time.